Coming to the mechanics of power screws, what are the force and torques that are analyzed in this? Before that, we need to have some assumptions for solving the torque equations. Okay, so we'll see the assumptions that we do. The screw is considered as an inclined plane with an alpha as an inclination. The load W always acts vertically downward direction. If the load moves up in the inclined plane when it is raised, the load moves down in the inclined plane when it is lowered. The load W is raised or lowered by an imaginary force F or P acting at the mean radius of the screw. So in the sketch we have seen how the power screw will be and the load W will be acting. P is the pitch. Okay, so T1 is the core diameter, D2 is the mean diameter, D is the nominal diameter, and if you can open development of screw you can find L is equal to N into P, nothing but lead of this the screw is, and you have a length of this is nothing but 5 into D2. So you can see in the sketch development of one thread, if you open you get this kind of the opening, okay, in the screw thread. So coming to the derivation of frictional torque required to raise the load, we have look at the sketches that you have shown. So consider a square threaded power screw subjected to a compressive load of W as shown in the sketch in the figure A. Okay. Then it is assumed to be inclined plane with a helix angle of alpha. When the load is raised, force components are as shown in the figure. You can see here normal stresses, tangential stresses, frictional forces, and W, which is acting in different directions. You can see friction is opposite to the movement of the motion of the thread. Okay, and you have all the other load components as shown. Let W is the actual compressive load, D is the major diameter of the screw, D2 is the mean diameter of the screw as we have seen this in the previous slides. D1 is the minor diameter of the screw, L is the lead of the screw, P is the pitch, small f is the coefficient of friction between the screw and the nut, which is equal to tan pi, where pi is the friction angle, Ft is the tangential force at mean radius, mean diameter, Fn is the force on the normal plane. By resolving the forces, as you can see from the sketch, we are resolving the vertical inclined load into a horizontal and vertical component. So by which we get Ft is equal to F into Fn cos alpha plus Fn sin alpha. So you refer the sketch given there, and resolving the forces along the vertical, again we get W plus F into Fn sin alpha is equal to Fn cos alpha, which we can rewrite it as a W is equal to Fn cos alpha minus F into Fn sin alpha. So equation 2 we can refer. Dividing the equations 1 by 2, we get Ft by W is equal to F into Fn cos alpha plus Fn sin alpha divided by Fn cos alpha minus F into Fn sin alpha. So on simplification, you get Ft by W is equal to F cos alpha plus sin alpha divided by cos alpha minus F sin alpha. Or if you can divide the right hand side with the cos alpha, we get Ft by W. Um, uh, we get F plus tan alpha divided by 1 minus F tan alpha. So what you have to do is divide and multiply by cos alpha to arrive at this equation. So if you rewrite this equation ft, so ft by w, w should be is moved to the numerator from denominator. So you get w into f plus tan alpha divided by 1 minus f tan alpha, which you can get it in the design data handbook with an equation number 9.11e, page number 134. Okay, so we know that coefficient of friction F is equal to tan pi. So replace wherever it is. So we get Ft is equal to W into tan pi plus tan alpha divided by 1 minus tan pi into tan alpha. So or else you can rewrite in terms of tan pi angles. Ft is equal to W into tan pi plus alpha, which again you can get it in the design data handbook. Okay, equations. And frictional torque required to raise the load is given by Tr is equal to Ft into radius, nothing but T by 2. So wherever Ft we can replace that with the W tan pi plus alpha. So you can rewrite it as a Tr is equal to W by 2 uh, d2 into tan pi plus alpha, or you can rewrite it as again Tr is equal to W by 2 d2 tan alpha plus f divided by 1 minus tan alpha. Wherever the tan pi you replace with the f, coefficient of friction. Or you can get collar friction, it is added. If you consider there is a collar friction, okay, friction in the collar, then you can add that nothing but Fc, and the collar friction and the diameter of it is dc, so which will be added to the existing equation as shown, which you can get it in the design data handbook by Balveer Reddy 9.12a. Similarly, if you want to derive the equation for the torque required to lower the load, so we get in the same fashion TL, L means lowering the load, we get W by 2 D2 tan into pi minus alpha, that is nothing but 9.11 E equation. We get it in the design data handbook. So we can rewrite this TL is equal to W by 2 into D2 into F minus tan alpha divided by 1 plus F tan alpha. So if the collar friction is added, then that part will be added to the equation, nothing but Fc dc. You can get it in the 9.12 equation of design data handbook. Coming to the collar friction, if the screw is provided with a collar in case, then we refer the inner diameter as D double dash and outer diameter as D single dash, and with the coefficient of friction of the collar nothing but Fc. Then torque required to overcome the collar friction is Tc is equal to W into Fc into dc divided by 2, where dc is the mean diameter of the thrust collar. So you can write the dc equation for the diameter thrust collar, so which is equal to d dash plus d double dash by 2 for uniform wear condition. Collar subjected to the initial wear. So DC you can write for the uniform pressure condition also, which is nothing but 2 by 3 d dash to the power 3 minus d double dash to the power 3 divided by d dash to the power 2 minus d double dash to the power 2, where we know that d double dash is the inner diameter, d dash is the outer diameter. So this is what we get. Then the torque equation will change, nothing but T is equal to W by 2 D2 tan pi plus alpha plus Fc plus dc is the equation.